Next, let's compare the core valuation or DCF with the relative valuation. So I have provided the numbers here including the equity value and also the implied share price for both methods. Now let's start with the question. Why is the number we got from DCF is lower and relative valuation is higher? We think that it's because DCF is based on the prediction, right? We use the historical data to predict the present, discount the forecasted cash flow back to the present to also predict the future. And DCF relies on a lot of assumptions because basically all the FCFF we use is just forecasted numbers, right? And it's very sensitive to small changes. The next one is relative valuation. Why is it higher? We think it's because the market is optimistic, because relative valuation is based on how the market views the future growth, or basically we're believing the other investors in the pool, right? And if the market is optimistic, the numbers from relative valuation is indeed higher. We might prefer relative valuation because Buntawan is in reality is in the IPO stage, right? They just open to be in the market. So if we use relative valuation, we could compare with other peers to understand how investors actually value similar companies. However, in reality, we think that when using PE ratios, it's very important not to rely on the raw numbers that we got from these calculations because it might not reflect Buntawan's true market position. It's better to compare it with business that have a similar business model, growth projections, and most importantly, size, because in our assignment, it's all assumptions, right? And sometimes the size isn't like totally similar. So using relative valuation like PE ratios we just did should always be backed by solid reasoning in reality. So we think that there's another factor to consider, which is to go to a site visit to help us consider the investment decision.